Where is Shedeur Sanders? Why Browns rookie QB is not suiting up for preseason Week 2 game versus Eagles. After taking the sports world by storm during his preseason debut, Shedeur Sanders won't be taking any snaps in Week 2. The Browns' rookie signal caller is firmly entrenched in a five-way quarterback battle, but can't do anything to help his case when Cleveland takes the field in Philadelphia to face the Eagles. Sanders passed the eye test in Week 1, completing 14 of 23 passes for 138 yards and 2 touchdowns. And while he was on track to build on that performance, he's noticeably absent from the action and will be watching a few of his counterparts get representatives under center. Here's why Sanders isn't playing and where he is during Week 2 of the preseason. Where is Shedeur Sanders? While Sanders is present at Lincoln Financial Field, he is unable to play due to injury. Sanders made the trip to Philadelphia with the Browns on Tuesday and suited up for a joint practice with the defending champs on Wednesday. He sustained an injury early in practice and was held out for the remainder of Wednesday and the entirety of Thursday's practice, ultimately resulting in him missing Saturday's game. Ahead of Week 2 of the preseason, Sanders was listed fourth on Cleveland's QB depth chart. He is listed behind Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, and Dylan Gabriel. Shedeur Sanders injury update. Sanders has a strained oblique, the Browns announced Wednesday. He sustained the injury while throwing early during joint practice between Cleveland and Philadelphia. On Thursday, Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski said that Sanders would be day-to-day and that the team was going to put him down for a little bit here. The Browns' preseason finale is on Saturday, August 23rd, versus the Rams. Browns preseason schedule 2025. Here are the remaining 2 games on Cleveland's preseason schedule. The Cleveland Browns entered preseason Week 2 with storylines swirling around their rookie quarterback. Fans had been waiting all week to see Shedeur Sanders step back onto the field, especially after a gritty performance against the Commanders in Week 1. But when the Browns released their official inactive list ahead of the Eagles matchup, one name jumped off the page: Shedeur Sanders, out. Instantly, the questions began flooding in. Where is Shedeur? Why isn't he suiting up? Is it injury, strategy, or something deeper? The official word. Head coach Kevin Stefanski's statement to reporters was straightforward, yet left more room for speculation than clarity. Shedeur's dealing with some soreness, Stefanski said. Nothing major, nothing long-term. We're being smart with him. He's not suiting up tonight against Philly. That was it. Brief, clinical, and intentionally vague. No timetable for return. No dramatic explanation. Just soreness. But in a city like Cleveland, where football is as much a heartbeat as it is a pastime, vague explanations only feed the fire. The locker room buzz. Behind closed doors, players had already sensed the shift. Sanders had been limited in practice all week, spending more time on the sideline with trainers than in live drills. Teammates noted he was still heavily engaged, head buried in the playbook, encouraging others, cracking jokes, but he wasn't throwing with his usual zip. One veteran offensive lineman put it bluntly when asked anonymously. Look, the kid wants to play. Everyone can see it. But the arm? It hasn't been right since camp. This is more about protecting him than hiding him. The Browns, for once, were erring on the side of caution. The Eagles matchup that could have been. On paper, the Eagles game was the perfect measuring stick for Sanders. Philadelphia's defensive front is considered one of the NFL's most physical units. Facing them, even in preseason, would have been a baptism by fire. Fans wanted to see how Sanders handled the blitz. Could he read disguised coverage from an NFC powerhouse defense? Could he stand tall in the pocket against the kind of pressure that eats rookies alive? Instead, Sanders stood on the sideline in street clothes, wearing a black hoodie and a focused stare. Cameras caught him talking with Deshaun Watson between drives, jotting notes in a small notebook, and occasionally nodding as if visualizing plays unfolding. It wasn't action, but it was education. Fan reaction. The announcement set Cleveland's sports radio ablaze. Typical Browns, hiding something, one caller fumed. You don't draft the guy, hype him up, then bench him in the one preseason game that matters. Another caller was more sympathetic. Give the kid a break. It's preseason. You don't throw your rookie to the wolves if he's sore. They are playing chess, not checkers. Social media painted the same divided picture. Half of the fanbase worried this was déjà vu, another quarterback story doomed by injury. The other half praised the decision, insisting the Browns finally understood the value of patience. The bigger picture. Why really wasn't Shedeur suiting up? It depends on who you ask. 1. Injury caution. The simplest answer is the most believable. Sanders' arm soreness had been lingering since camp, and with 17 regular season games ahead, there was no sense in risking further damage for a meaningless preseason snap. 2. Development strategy. Some insiders suggested Stefanski wanted Sanders to watch more than play this week. Facing the Eagles' exotic defensive looks from the sideline could give him a clearer perspective, allowing film study to reinforce lessons without the added physical toll. 3. Quarterback politics. The Browns' quarterback room is complicated. Deshaun Watson is the starter, but his injuries and inconsistency have cast doubt. The coaching staff doesn't want a rookie controversy brewing too soon. Limiting Sanders' exposure could keep the focus on Watson, for now. A silent statement. Though Sanders didn't speak to reporters after the Eagles game, his body language said plenty. He wasn't sulking or disengaged. Instead, he stood with teammates, offered advice, and even celebrated plays with energy. It was a subtle but important message. He's here for the long haul. One beat writer summed it up perfectly. Shedeur not playing tonight might disappoint fans, but the way he carried himself on the sideline told me everything I needed to know. He's a leader in waiting. What this means moving forward. The decision to sit Sanders against the Eagles will ripple into the coming weeks. For the Browns, it signals caution and long-term thinking, rare commodities for a franchise often accused of panic moves. They are protecting their investment, not throwing him into preseason chaos. For Sanders, it's a reminder that his journey won't be a sprint. He may have to endure moments of frustration, but patience could preserve his career longevity. For fans, it's a test of faith. Cleveland has been burned before, but maybe this time, restraint is the key to something special. A father's watchful eye. No story about Shedeur feels complete without the presence of his father, Deion Sanders. Though not at the stadium, Deion took to social media after the game with a cryptic post. Sometimes the best ability is availability. But wisdom says, don't rush the process. God's timing is perfect. Was it a direct reference to Shedeur's situation? Almost certainly. And like everything Deion says, it became instant debate fodder.